Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we have a very exciting video for you. This is my 2026 Los Angeles Mayor Primary Election Night video. I'm going to break down the top candidates in this race, where things currently stand amongst all the polling and such, and then go through an hour by hour election night prediction for you, all in this video. So this should be a lot of fun. Okay, so there are a total of 16 candidates in this race for Los Angeles Mayor. The three most notable candidates, I'm going to go in more detail in just one moment, but these three on the screen are the three candidates that you really need to be known or need to know about or be informed about. So the first candidate is Karen Bass, who is the current mayor of Los Angeles. Now this primary is considered to be nonpartisan, though Karen Bass herself is a registered Democrat. She's the incumbent mayor of Los Angeles, and she has the endorsements of very notable Democrats and a lot of celebrities, including the former Vice President, Kamala Harris. So Karen Bass, as the incumbent mayor, usually sets out with an advantage in this race, and she's currently polling at or just behind or nearly at the top of the polling average, depending on what you're looking at, but usually she's in first place. As the incumbent, she stands the most likely to win re-election, but the polls I'm about to show you show a very tight race. Karen Bass also plays a very big role in another candidate's decision to run, and we'll be getting to that in just momentarily. But Karen Bass is the first candidate that you need to be familiar with for this race. Next, we have Nithya Raman. She is a city councilor of the 4th District of Los Angeles, and she's also the president pro tempore from 2025 to present. She previously did endorse Karen Bass in this race, but she is now running. She is someone that is also nonpartisan, but is a registered Democrat. She is someone that is making a run against Karen Bass from the left, from the farther left of the Democratic Party, more in the socialist wing of the Democratic Party. She's attempting to be a farther left alternative to Karen Bass for Democrats that view Bass as maybe establishment or not going farther left enough on issues like homelessness or housing and affordability, all the very key issues. She is someone that's running to the left of Karen Bass and seeking to be that alternative for Democrats that feel Bass has not done enough and not gone far enough to get these things done. So Nithya Raman is the Democratic candidate of the left in this race. You can sort of make a similarity to Zohran Mamdani if you want, but it's not an exact comparison, but kind of similar mold on that regard. The next candidate, and you may have heard his name in the news a lot, is Spencer Pratt. He is also nonpartisan candidate, though he is, as of a few years ago, a registered Republican. And he is someone that has said he's running in this race. He's the former reality TV show personality. He is running in this race because he blames Karen Bass, the current mayor, for his house getting burned down in the Palisades fire, which took place last year. And he's gone on this campaign going against Karen Bass and saying that she failed not only him, but millions of Los Angeles or Los Angelinos in the city with her incompetent leadership. And Pratt's campaign has been very, very fascinating. He is someone that, as a Republican, but he keeps that very quiet and is trying to get as many voters to his side as possible. And the early polling data may surprise you at how many supporters he actually has, as he has a very large amount for a Republican running in a very blue Los Angeles city. So Spencer Pratt, Nithya Raman, and Karen Bass are the candidates, and now we move on to where this race currently stands. So first, we have the 2022 Los Angeles runoff general election results. I just want to give you a good idea of how this ultimately all shook out. Karen Bass and Rick Caruso, two Democrats, won first and second place in the first ballot, like it's taking place on Tuesday. And then they head to a runoff election with roughly about 929,974 votes. Overall, 43.86% of registered voters turned out to vote, and Karen Bass won 54.8% to Rick Caruso's 45.2%. In overall votes, Bass ended up getting 509,944 votes. Caruso got 420,030 votes. So looking at these numbers closely, you're close to around an 89,000, nearly 90,000 or so win for Karen Bass over Rick Caruso. Now, I'm showing you this because it is important, as a runoff election in this race is looking likely and more likely as the results get closer, due to how much these candidates are splitting the vote amongst themselves in the early polling. So in the current Los Angeles mayor polling average, this is from the Decision Desk HQ, and this is as of Saturday that I am recording this video. So as of Saturday, Karen Bass is currently the leader at 25.5%. Spencer Pratt is behind her in second place at 19.20%, and Nithya Raman is at 18.3% or 30%. Overall, still 37% of voters in Los Angeles in the mayor's race are either undecided or supporting other candidates, with a vast majority of them being undecided as of right now. So it's very interesting here. Yes, Bass is leading, and she's leading over Pratt by about 6 points in this average, but there is a lot of opportunity here in this race for both Spencer Pratt and Nithya Raman to catch up to Karen Bass and take the lead here, as there's still such an overwhelming amount of undecided vote. So it's very interesting to see ultimately how this will all shake out. As for the market odds from both Polymarket and Kalshi, they have the advantage in Karen Bass's favor. They have Karen Bass 61% chance to win, Spencer Pratt at 21% in second, and then Nithya Raman at 17% in third place. Kalshi is very similar, 62% for Bass, 25% for Pratt, and Raman is at 15%. In terms of where this race has trended, it started out looking very strong for Karen Bass, and she is led until really the time before the first debate. The first debate kind of takes place, but Raman is surging in this time period, and then a week or two after the debate, Spencer Pratt slowly starts to rise, but Karen Bass is the candidate that really skyrockets in this race. Now, in the last few days or so, we've actually seen Karen Bass's numbers start to go down a bit, and Raman's numbers start to go back up, and Spencer Pratt's is sort of remaining relatively around that mid 20% or so. Since then, his numbers are fluctuating a little bit, but not as much as Bass's and Raman's are. So it's going to be interesting to see ultimately. These are in Bass's favor, but it's very much fluctuating, which based on the polling data and the amount of undecideds and where the market odds currently stand, there seems to be a lot of uncertainty in how people feel about this race. One, which two candidates are going to advance to a runoff if there is one, and could one of these candidates potentially pull off an upset and maybe win outright on election night? It's possible. I don't know if it's likely, but it is certainly possible. And that's an important distinction I want to make sure you're aware of here, is similar to the California governor's race, the top two candidates would advance to the general election if nobody breaks 50%. But where this differs from the governor's race is in the mayor's race, if a candidate does break 50% outright, they win the race. There's no need for a general election in November. This race is settled if whichever candidate finishes above 50%. So that's why when you talk about Karen Bass or Spencer Pratt or Nithya Raman getting above 50% of the vote, it's very important, because if they do, they're the next mayor of Los Angeles and they don't have to worry about a runoff. Now, the polling data looks like it's probably going to be too much of a vote split for that to happen, but it is a possibility if the polls end up being wrong and one of these three candidates can consolidate a lot of the support. Though it is also worth noting, as I mentioned, there are 16 candidates in this race, so taking away the three main ones, there's still going to be a good amount of vote split that will likely probably prevent a candidate from breaking 50% of the vote. I also just want to update you that I did do another channel poll. If you saw my prior election night for the California governor's race, which I hope you'll check out after this one, I did a channel poll asking everyone if you wanted to vote on potential runoff general election matchups if that were to happen. And this is where it shook out. 71% of respondents said they believe Karen Bass and Spencer Pratt is the most likely matchup to advance to the general election. Second place was Karen Bass and Nithya Raman at 24%. 5% said Spencer Pratt and Nithya Raman. And another outcome involving any of the other candidates was at 0%. So Bass versus Pratt seems to be the most likely outcome for a runoff based on the poll. And then second place goes to Bass versus Raman. In terms of the election night itself, we'll be starting momentarily. This is the map I'll be looking at. We'll be having votes come in out of Los Angeles, and as the votes come in, I'll show you on the left side of the screen here the current vote numbers and percentages across the district as these votes come in. We're forecasting similar to the governor's race, roughly about 1.3 million votes coming out of the Los Angeles area, as turnout in the last few days have been surging in Los Angeles and in the state of California as a whole. So we're expecting high turnout for a very competitive and well talked about Los Angeles mayoral race. And now with 10 seconds to go until 11 p.m. Eastern Time, we're officially starting to get our first results out of the state of California and out of the Los Angeles mayoral race. Okay, so it is 11:20 p.m. Eastern Time, and we have our first official results out of the Los Angeles mayor's race. And something that may come as a little bit of a shock to some observers, Spencer Pratt, the nonpartisan candidate that is a registered Republican, is currently in first place. Pratt has 45% of the vote, 87,181 votes. Karen Bass, the current incumbent mayor, is in second place at 26% with 50,371 votes. Nithya Raman is in third place at 21% with 40,684 votes. All the other candidates combining currently have about 8% of the vote at 15,499 votes. Overall, this accounts for about 14.3% of the overall estimated vote turnout throughout the night, counting for roughly 193,735 overall votes. Some early takeaways thus here is it's clear Spencer Pratt is getting a good amount of support early on, and most of these votes that are coming in are coming from the early election day vote and the early in-person vote as well. As the night goes on, it's more likely than not that as the mail-in ballots get counted, that the more Democratic candidates in Bass and Raman will benefit from those numbers more. So the early vote numbers are going to look very strong for Spencer Pratt, and as the night goes on, his lead will likely diminish as more results come in. The question ultimately is going to be, does Pratt have enough votes ultimately to hang on with as those mail-in ballots come in, or do Bass and Raman surge up and potentially overplace Spencer Pratt? So it's going to be very interesting to see as the night develops how things go on. But early on in the race, I'm expecting Spencer Pratt to lead due to the fact that I think election day vote and early in-person vote is going to benefit Pratt. It's also worth noting, yes, Pratt is running a campaign of trying to win over Democrats, Republicans, and independents, but essentially as the only notable Republican registered candidate in this race, he's going to consolidate. There's not a lot of Republicans living in Los Angeles, but those that are pretty much all going to consolidate around him, along with some Democrats and independents, and that gives him a very strong early lead in the Los Angeles mayoral race at around 11:20 p.m. Okay, we've arrived at 11:40 p.m. Eastern Time, and we already have nearly double the amount of votes that have come in the Los Angeles mayoral race. Now at 28.6% of the vote in, about 387,000 or so votes here, Spencer Pratt continues to lead in the Los Angeles mayoral race, though his lead has gone down by a handful of points. Pratt is now at 41% with 158,863 votes. Karen Bass, the incumbent, is at 27.5%, 106,554 votes. Raman is at 23.5% with 91,055 votes, and other combined candidates at 8% with 30,998 votes. So again, these early votes that have come in strong for Spencer Pratt as is expected, though you can already see by the margins going down a little bit for Spencer Pratt by a few points. As more of these mail-in ballots come in, we're starting to see Pratt's lead slowly start to diminish. Again, the main question is, once we get above like 80% of the vote, then what will the numbers end up being? That'll give us a clearer picture at how this race is currently going. But for now, Spencer Pratt is still in the lead. Karen Bass and Nithya Raman are following in second and third place behind Pratt as of right now. Okay, we have now reached midnight on the East Coast, 12 a.m., and we have an update on the election results at 42.9% of the vote in out of Los Angeles. Spencer Pratt does continue to lead, but he's once again lost about nearly 4 points from his lead now. Pratt is at 37.7% at 218,921 votes. Karen Bass, the incumbent mayor, is at 29%, 168,549 votes. Nithya Raman is at 25.7% at 149,176 votes. Other candidates are currently combining for 7.7%, 44,559 overall votes here. That 42.9% turnout has roughly 581,205 estimated voters. So again, the early numbers that have come in, the election day vote is going strongly for Spencer Pratt as these mail-in ballots start to come in for as these mail-in ballots start to come in, you see Spencer Pratt's lead starting to slowly diminish. Now Karen Bass is trailing Spencer Pratt here by looking about a hair under about 60,000 votes, separating Pratt and Karen Bass. Currently, Pratt has a very large lead, but in the heavily Democratic Los Angeles, there's more than enough votes for both Karen Bass and Nithya Raman to catch Pratt in the next few vote dumps. If that is the case, if the trends continue, though Spencer Pratt is enjoying a lead as of right now. Okay, we're at 12:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and things are narrowing up very, very closely here. At 57.1% of the estimated vote in, 774,940 votes, nearly 775,000 overall votes here. It's very close. Spencer Pratt's lead has now shrunk to 34.1% at 264,448 votes. Karen Bass, the incumbent mayor, is now at 31.3%, 242,169 votes. Nithya Raman is at 26.8%, 207,296 votes. Other combined candidates currently are amassing at 7.9%, 61,027 votes. So what's happened here? Like as expected, as more mail-in ballots have come in and the election day vote is all pretty much in, we're starting to see Karen Bass start to make up some ground on Spencer Pratt, and we're even starting to see Nithya Raman also gain a little bit on Pratt as well. She's slowly starting to get more votes and go up in the percentages as more votes come in. In terms of the overall lead here, Pratt currently leads Bass by roughly about 22,000 votes across all the vote in Los Angeles that has come in, and Pratt's leading Raman by roughly about, 54 to 55,000 votes or so across the state as well. So Pratt is a very large lead at this current point in time over Raman, but the Karen Bass for Spencer Pratt number is certainly, with each update, getting smaller and smaller, and we may possibly see a Karen Bass overtaking of Spencer Pratt relatively quickly in the next few, maybe in the next half hour or so, if these trends continue to happen in the Los Angeles mayoral race. It certainly shows, though, with all the undecided voters and the polling averages, it shows that there are a lot of people. And what happens when those people decide which candidate they vote for? It comes a very tight race between three candidates getting a very good, considerable amount of the vote. Shows a very close race like this one is shaping up to be. Okay, it is now 71.4% of the vote in at roughly 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Nearly 968,675 votes, and Spencer Pratt still holds a lead in this race, but it is a very, very narrow lead at 32.8%. Karen Bass is now at 31%, and Nithya Raman has also gained a considerable amount of few points as well at 28.4%, with other candidates at 7.8%. In terms of the actual votes, Pratt now has 317,725. Karen Bass has 300,289. So Pratt's lead has fallen again from that 22,000 vote number to roughly about 17,500 over Karen Bass right now. Nithya Raman also getting 275,104. She is now trailing Spencer Pratt by under 50,000 votes in this race, so she is starting to inch up closer to Pratt's numbers as well. So as these numbers come in here, we're into the final 30% of vote in Los Angeles. Most of the vote that's remaining out there is probably going to benefit Karen Bass and Nithya Raman the most, as is mostly all remaining mail-in balloting vote, and that typically favors the more Democratic candidates on the ballot than the Republican ones. So that remaining vote should benefit Karen Bass and Nithya Raman the most. The question will be, would ultimately be enough to take over Spencer Pratt's current percentages and current numbers. It is looking very strong here, though, that no candidate will break 50%, and we're likely going to get a runoff of the top two candidates for the Los Angeles mayoral election in 2026. We have reached 1:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we have a big update in the Los Angeles mayoral election primary. Karen Bass, the incumbent mayor of Los Angeles, has taken the lead over Spencer Pratt. She now has 31.8% to Pratt's 31.7%. Nithya Raman's in third place, but she has also risen to 29% exactly. A very close race now at the top in the Los Angeles mayoral election. Other candidates combining for 7.5% as well. Bass has 370,034 votes. Spencer Pratt has 368,097 votes. Only a 2,000 vote difference between Karen Bass and Spencer Pratt right now. Certainly very, very close. Nithya Raman has 337,099 votes. Only roughly about a 30,000 vote separating Pratt and Raman now as well. So as Pratt has led the top of the ticket for most of the night, not only has he now fallen behind Karen Bass, but there's a possibility in the final few votes, roughly 15% of the vote left to go here, Raman has the ability to potentially catch Spencer Pratt if these votes come in favorably enough for her to put her in second place in advance to a runoff against Karen Bass. So this next 15% of the vote that comes in is going to be very, very crucial for both Bass, Pratt, and Raman in this race. As for the turnout, as I mentioned, it's 85.7% of the vote in, accounting for really 1,162,410 votes. So we should be getting close to our final vote update in the state of California, in the city of Los Angeles, for its mayoral election. Okay, it is now 2 a.m. Eastern Time, and we have a major call to make in the 2026 Los Angeles mayoral election primary. First things first, as pretty much we've expected throughout the night, no candidate will be breaking 50% of the vote, so it will be a runoff election between the top two vote getters. And those candidates with 99.9% of the vote in, the 1,356,145 votes, Karen Bass, the incumbent mayor, who is a registered Democrat, and Spencer Pratt, the non-partisan candidate who is a registered Republican, will advance to the runoff. Karen Bass finishes with 33% of the vote, accounting for 447,528 votes. Spencer Pratt finishes at 30.4%, 412,656 votes. Overall, that's going to be a margin victory of roughly about 35,000 vote lead for Karen Bass over Spencer Pratt, which in a city as large as Los Angeles, a 35,000 vote lead is really not a massive number in a city of nearly 1.3 million to 1.4 million even registered voters in this primary. So very close result between Bass and Pratt for first and second place. Nithya Raman does ultimately miss out on the runoff election after running a very strong race, getting 29.1% of the vote, 395,219 votes. She trails Spencer Pratt by just about 17,000 votes for second place. So again, similar to the Bass versus Pratt at the top of the ticket, Raman only missing out against Pratt by 17,000 votes in a city of Los Angeles that has so many people living in it is really such a small amount to miss out on the top two by for Nithya Raman. So very, very close to Spencer Pratt. The polling showed a very tight race, especially between Pratt and Raman for second place. And on election night, it does end up being super close. Spencer Pratt does ultimately get just enough votes to ultimately eke by Raman in advance to the general election runoff versus Karen Bass, which will be taking place in November. Other combined candidates do account for 7.4%, 100,742. Okay, everyone, that is going to do it for today's video for this 2026 Los Angeles election night mayoral prediction. I hope you enjoyed this video. The real election that's going to be taking place, obviously this is my simulation of it. The actual primary will be taking place on Tuesday. Its polls will be closing at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. California West Coast time, and I'll be watching these results come in. I'll do plan on doing a live stream on this one, so hopefully I should be able to get that going. And there'll also be the California governor's race as well. That primary is going to be taking place as well. So I can't wait to watch that. I did make a election night prediction that's going to be coming out yesterday So if you're seeing this video, you may have already seen that video, but if you have not and you would like to check that out, that is also on my channel in my election night playlist, but I'll also be tagging it at the end of this video as well for you to watch if you're interested in keeping an eye on that. For now, though, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and hit subscribe as well so you get notified when I post a new video. If you want, you can leave a comment below in the comment section. Who do you think is going to win the LA mayoral race between Karen Bass, Spencer Pratt, and Nithya Raman? You can leave all of that in the comment section down below. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, please remember to hit like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in a future video.